Top Faith Ministries, Marriage Empowerment Session number 2. We back on the couch with Michael and Sheila Harris. And this time we're open for a...
You all right?
I'm good.
Hopefully nobody gets shot this week.
Oh.
Wow.
We just kidding.
Yes, we are just kidding. Yes, we're peaceful people. We're God-fearing people.
I have a dog.
No, we don't. Okay.
Hi
everybody.
The first episode was amazing. Felt like people got to get to know you guys and in your beginnings.
Yeah.
And that you guys have a really good sense of humor, and that's important in marriage.
Yes, it is.
To be able to laugh, and you guys truly look at each other that you love each other. But now there's some times in marriages where things are not always that easy. Mm-hmm. And that's in this episode. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Okay.
I think we will all be naive to think that every marriage is perfect every single day. So can you guys go into maybe a time in your marriage where things were not rosy?
Well, first I'm going to start off like I do not believe there is a perfect anything. The only perfect being Christ himself. So we're all made up we're all created to fail, so to speak. We're going to fall down, and it's not about how you fall or how many times you fall. It's about, to me, how graceful you get back up. And in our marriage, we have had many challenges and trials, and that's what actually made us better and stronger. Because if you've never been tried, how do you know how true you are? And to me, the commitment that you make to each other is not solidified until you have cried and almost despised that person and got mad and I don't even feel like going home to see him right now or something like that. And like, as I tell Michael, I don't like you right now, but we are committed, and those trials that we experience, which some of them was ugly and almost made us want to give up, but we didn't, because once we realize it, we're committed to each other. And the commitment is the thing that says, I'm not giving up on us. And actually, I'm stubborn anyway, even though people may have, my family was like, you should leave, you should go. I'm like, I'm not giving this to anybody else. This one is mine. God gave him to me. But I do believe that once we went through our trying times, we actually we discovered the beauty in the ashes. And it has made us, we get to laugh at things that we used to argue over, or he'll say something or do something now, and it's like a 2-word or 3-word, or maybe I said a 2-word, or a 2-sentence thing, and we're over it. Tell each other, I give it 24 hours. I'm gonna be mad or do whatever I'm gonna do for 24 hours. After that, if it didn't kill us, why are you still being mad over it? You got to get over it, pass it on. But we deal with it. I give ourselves 24 hours to deal with it, and then if it's not solved, we just have to move on. It's a resolve. It's basically we agree that we're going to disagree on some things and push past, especially if it's not real detrimental. Oh, you broke my vase. Oh, okay. He glued it back together. So... So I have to get over it. It was materialistic, So, and sometimes, I believe some women, we're good at flipping the script. Sometimes it's our fault, and we know how to manipulate a situation that they think it's their fault while we're mad, But, once you think about it and you get by yourself and and you pray about it, the truth is revealed to you, and you just have to deal with yourself at that point. Did I say it all?
You said it all. Actually, yes, you said it a lot, and I truly agree, because relationships, marriage, you have to take the good and the bad, and you grow from it. You don't. It doesn't stay there. Like you can't harp on it and keep it going in your life because you're going to miss your blessing. You know, and if you truly love each other and want to make things work, you would go through the fire to get to to get out of the fire, to get out of the pit.
Can I ask you something about what you just said there? Because I think a lot of relationships and people like going through it, they feel like not everybody goes in the fire. Like what you said, like, you know, you both got to work to be in the fire. So like, how did you guys work together through whatever, you know, bad times you might have had, that you both went into the ring swinging to make sure you both got the knockout to be, you know, to be able to be a happier couple? Because some people just walk in, one person leave their gloves down, the other person got their gloves up ready to fight for their marriage. So like, what do you, like, how did you, like, what do you guys do to do that?
So, you know, I pray on it. I do pray on it when we're going through things and when we're not going through things. You pray on it, and you want help from the Holy Spirit, you know, to give you some guidance. And if you listen, you do get that, and then you try to, while you're in the fire, you try to put it out by apologizing if you hurt them, you know. If we have like an argument, you have to communicate. You have to, and sometimes, like Sheila said, give me 24 hours. give me some time away. And me being me, I don't understand that, because you're with a person over 20 years, 30 years. It's like, I know I might sound a little vain, but it's like, what do we have to argue over? We've been together all this time. What do we have to fight over? We've been together all this time. But there is things that a man and a woman gonna disagree with, and it's not that you that it gets really hot and heated where you can't stand one another. But I understand now what she's saying when she say, I don't like you right now, but I love you. It still don't sit well with me, but she said, and I say, okay. So, and vice versa. At times, yeah, I don't like her, you know, but I'm always love her, you know, in spite of. But this being positive, you know, through the fight, this being positive in the fire, because as you move on and like our relationship, as you go on through life, things are going to constantly come up, but now you got to fight them. So you fight them with prayer, you fight them with communication, you fight them with, you know, being kind. And if she feel like she need to be alone, she can have her space. That's one thing that you have to do. You have to give space, you know.
For me, you have to fight fair. And one thing we did seek wise counsel. You can't let everybody in. You know, you have to seek wise counsel, and because even some family members, they're not gonna be unbiased. You know, they're gonna, you know, when we first started and I wasn't, you know, we were on shaky ground, I would tell my mother some things he would do, and you know, because it affected me. My mother, after I forgave him, my mother didn't forgive him. You know, she would shut the door on his face. But before she left here, she grew to love him, even though she insulted his car. He has a nice car, and she called it a van. But but she still loved him. I mean, yes, she saw her daughter truly happy, so that softened her heart. But you have to be careful of who you let in and who you talk with and share with, because once you've gotten over it and forgiven, that other person don't. And when I meant by fight fair, sometime when you're fighting over this issue, you're fighting over who didn't do the dishes, and then it turns into, well, you didn't take out the trash. Stay with what the fight is. Don't bring up past. Stay right there. Stay in that moment and let that be it and resolve that. Now, if you had something wrong last week, that was last week. You should have moved past that by now. So we did learn that you have to stay in the moment, stay with that fight. One thing we did do, we don't say always anymore, because sometimes you look to place blame, and or you'll say you always do that. No one always do anything. So we had to come to that realization. And
words has a big part in how
Yes.
how you express yourself when you're trying to get a point across.
yeah, yeah,
Now, I'm probably a little rough around the edges when I pretty much see something out of place.
Yeah.
And it's just her and I. And I might say it in a way where it's like I'm scolding her.
yeah. He loves a clean house, y'all.
Like I'm scolding her, you know.
Yeah.
Probably my upbringing,
Yeah.
military background. So, you know, it's how you say a thing. And so now I learned to think with the filter system before it come out. You know, and
Yeah, you got to swallow it first.
yeah, you have to say it to yourself. Is it what you like it if it's said to you in that manner? You know, and so it's all there.
No, I'm gonna be transparent again. One time we was having this
my
fight. We were having this fight, and I don't know what I said or what I did, but he called me out my name. But
No.
I know how he is, so I
No.
started laughing. It was funny because
She was testing me. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But no, I never called her out her name.
Okay, we're gonna agree to disagree,
Okay,
because
so-
I remember it a certain way. But anyway, he called me out of my name, but it was so funny because he had never done it before, and I saw how mad he was that I started laughing. And you know, he was trying to stay mad for a minute and trying to keep a straight face, but he even started laughing because it was hilarious. And we moved, and that was how we got over that one. But anyway, that's how we fight. We back to violence again.
Yeah, y'all violent every week. Calling each other out each other's names.
Well,
This is 30
talking-
years in the making.
we
That was
talking
one
30
time
years.
out of 30 years, but that's
we're
how.
going back.
I'm sure people watching it completely understand.
It's not.
They might be going.
It's not every day, every week, every month, every year. No, we just have.
This
our
my
different
Hercules
rules.
right here, y'all.
But you know, what about those? What about truly those? How do you communicate through those really, really bad problems? And then I know really, really bad problems change by relationship to relationship, but a bad problem between you guys, how did you communicate your way through it? Because that's what a lot of people want to know. How do you get through the stuff that hurts your heart? It's not like those flyby arguments like you didn't take the trash.
Yeah.
It's those arguments that really hurt your soul. Like, how do you guys communicate through those type of issues?
We've had some of those, and you have to, for me, how I see it is that I know he's going to make mistakes, but sometimes those things that may have happened that may have hurt me, I know he loves me, that he didn't, and his intention was not to hurt me. It's just that I was hurt by the result of something that had happened, you know. And so I may think a little different than some people, because, you know, I look at a thing and I look at a situation, I look at it from the top, the bottom, the middle, and all the sides. And sometimes, you know, and I do know that there's adversaries out there that come in. If you're smiling and laughing and having a good time and think life is great, sometimes there's adversaries that want to come in and say, I want to show you that you don't have it all like that, or things just happen. No, things don't happen. We allow things to happen, I guess. But yeah, I have to realize, you know, like I look at the background of a thing, you know, like, you know, he did this because of this, and I know it, but I know he didn't do it to try to destroy me or to hurt me, because I know he loved me. It's just that he had a weak moment. And the same with me. I mean, no one is perfect, so you do things out of sometime retaliation, which is trivial, you know, and all that. But you do it, and then you have regrets about it because you doing it not to disclose anything to him. You just know, I did it now, you know, and it's a private thing. So, you know, just, you know, but, you know, you did something that was not helpful to your marriage. Yeah.
And what about you? Like, how do you communicate through that? Like, when that happens, either which way, like, how do you communicate through the problem? Like, how do you talk to each other through the problem?
We did seek wise counsel over
Well,
that.
you
Yeah,
seek wise
counsel,
counsel.
and the wise counsel told you.
Yeah, they told you, you know, like, for example, there's, how did it go? You have treasure here, but you're looking in the trash over there for something else, and that's trash. And, you know, he put it to me like that, but, and, you know, it makes you think. It makes you think, and you go I pretty much go deep. You know, why am I doing it? Can I go to her and explain why I did it? How will she receive it? And again, will it be a retaliation behind it? You know, I just had to do it. You know, and it was rocky. You know, and it was just you're soul searching now. Now you're inside. Now you're inside, and you're trying to feel her, and you're trying to feel yourself, and finally you think you come up with something to smooth it over, and it's still not the right thing, you know. And as time progressed, you know, things start easing out, and then you start doing those little things again, so far as giving her a card.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to communication in this type of whatever scenario is, whatever people are going through, through wise counsel, you got a situation, you just communicate head on.
Pretty much, yeah. You have to talk about it.
You have to talk about it. You have to talk about it.
You choose your words and you say what the issue is. And yeah, it's going to be some crying and some shouting and, you know, and all that. And, you know, it might be some ugly words said, but you get it all out. But if you feel, I don't want to say safe, but if you feel, if you feel the commitment, you know that there's going to be something there, but you know that person, you're not so afraid that they're going to leave you over it because you know that they love you. It's just that I see that, okay, one of us made a mistake.
So, like, you say that, but some people have a fear, right? Like, they feel like I did something that is bad.
It's unforgivable?
I don't know, not about unforgivable, but they're afraid that if they tell you X, that you're going to leave. Mm-hmm. How does that person still tell you X because they love you and they want to work through it? How does that get communicated in a way that they don't need to be afraid of the person leaving?
Okay, to me, you have to know your audience. Yeah. You know, again, being careful with your words. You just can't come in and just lay it all out. You know, you gotta lay a roadmap or something. You gotta lay the foundation. You know, and
can you give an example of that? Because I think a lot of people will want to know, like, what you mean by that.
Okay.
The foundation.
Okay.
Doesn't need to be about you.
Here it is. Okay. Transparency. During the pandemic, I got nervous. I was like, I didn't want us to run out of food. I didn't want us to run out of the essentials and all that, which I thought were essentials anyway. And I was at home and we were having so I was ordering food. I think food came twice a day. We decided to redecorate and did some things. I just went shopping crazy. And by the time I realized it, I had ran a credit card up to like $7,000. So we had to have a hard conversation about that because that was we wasn't supposed to do that. we have this thing, you know, like if $1,000 is the most a person's supposed to spend without the other one like co-signing on it, and but I didn't see it. It got out of control, and so I kind of ran the credit card statements to let them know, like, this is how it happened, And, so he could see it. It wasn't like all at once. It wasn't on one thing. It was, it happened over time. And, this was a situation that we were in, and this was my thinking, and this was my, and all that. So he still wasn't happy about it, because I felt scolded, because he like, how can you be irresponsible and all that? And then the word irresponsible set me off and all that. And I was like, well, didn't you realize that I was getting all that? How do you think I wasn't paying the delivery person cash when they showed up? But, it was something that I had to deal with. And so I had to buckle down and not spend on the credit card to get our finances under control. And that was pleasing to both of us. But it was having that hard conversation, because I know how not strict, but how he feels about irresponsibly spending money. And because he says we're in the fourth quarter. I say we're in the end of the third quarter. We're not in the fourth quarter yet. So, and he's looking towards retirement and all that. And so that's important. I know that to him, that is very important. And to me, it wasn't as bad, but I could not view it from my point, because my partner had a problem, had an issue with it. So I couldn't internally say, well, I don't see a problem. Why do you see a problem? He saw a problem, and we had to deal with it. We had to address it. So we did. And so now that credit card's paid off.
Yeah. What about you?
I realized, during our 30 years of knowing one another, she is, how can I put this? She loved to help people. She loved giving assistance to people and stuff like that. So, during the pandemic, if someone didn't have it and she was trying to protect them, I know, she was trying to protect, she would have it. So she would share hers with them and purchase a little more for us. And which was fine, because we're trying to keep families safe. But I just wanted her to realize that in a short time, we can hurt ourselves, but she got a handle on it, and I'm good with it. I just meant
how would, even in that situation, which, thank you, by the way. Even in that situation, how could that have been communicated better that it didn't turn into an argument? Is there a way that could have been communicated better? That's what I mean. I just feel like there's certain ways you can stop an argument by keeping your partner informed, or is there a way that you felt like could have been better communicated, that you wouldn't have been so angry? Even understanding that it's been spent, or understanding in the process of why it's been spent, where it wasn't like a blind side.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So what happens is that you have to communicate it first. Mm-hmm. To that person, knowing she know me, and it's not all about the money. It's not about that. It's about, again, where we're gonna be in the future, and who can we bounce back to just in case if we need, So she understands that, and she took charge of it. I didn't have anything else to do with it. Just expressing who I was and and where we was headed, because I've always said, poverty is around the corner.
Oh, okay. Well, I get what you're asking. How it did not have to turn into an argument. He found out I spent the money, so I could have been. And once I saw the credit card bill, I knew that it was. I was like, whoa. I could have brought it to him instead of him finding out. And that would have, he still would have been a little upset, but not as upset the fact that he found out. He saw the evidence himself before I brought it to him, and I had already known. So being upfront and everything would have eliminated a lot of that. And it's not that he didn't trust me with it or anything like that. It's just that it was mind-blowing how much you go from 0 to 7 in a matter of 3 months. It was, that was a lot, so.
I think, and keep going on that part of communication, and we got like 3 or 4 minutes left in this segment. But I think that's what some relationships will find as an issue, where you're reactionary to a situation instead of being proactive. Like as a situation comes up or has already happened, I think people feel better about it if you come to them
head on
yes. Instead of if they find out.
Yes.
And then what do you guys think about that?
No, we never fought over, finances or anything like that. But during the pandemic, we was blessed. I mean, I was taken care of through the job, while I was off, her as well. So we knew it was coming in, but it was going out too just as fast. But we knew that we would still be okay. Yeah. We knew that.
But your question is what now?
My question is, overall in your relationship, how do you, instead of having somebody be reactionary because they found out something, how are you proactive in communicating issues?
Actually, yeah, we are. It's more like when he hears something or knows something, he picks up and he calls and he tells me. When I know of something that's coming, I wait a little bit. Like I know, sometime if something's going to happen, I actually, like I said, I know my audience, so I wait till a good time and I practice my words and I think them over in my head, and I'm like, okay, this is getting ready to go down, da 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 da. You okay? We okay? And it happens like that. It's basically, like you said, we're more proactive now. Instead of letting the shoe drop and see where the chips fall, we get ahead of it. And because, if it's coming, you might as well go on and put it out there. It's gonna come out. Like they say, what you do in the dark gonna come to the light. When you open that closet door, it's still gonna be there. So you might as well go on and put it out there. I can't say take your scolding like a woman or whatever, but put on your big girl underwear, big boy underwear or whatever, and go on and just have the conversation. Just, whether you write it on a piece of paper and slide it over to them and see how they react or whatever, but it's best to get ahead of it than to let them find out, because if they find out, you're almost now dealing with a trust issue because you don't know, why didn't you tell me? And now can I trust you? Do I, so I never wanted that to come up. So, we get ahead of it no matter how hard, but I know he's still going to be there. He might be a little, butthurt for a minute, but we good. We good, right?
We good.
We good?
We're going to always be good.
Okay. All right. We good.
I mean, so far as me being proactive, whenever, something was to arise, and I communicated to her, it's real quick. I mean, I let her know up front. On the other hand, she's going to think it out, but not me. I don't think it out. I'm like, hey, this is what's happening. This is what's going down, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is my approach, to the situation. And then she communicate her approach, and we come together at that point, and we find the approach to it and solve the issue. But on her case, she would pretty much hold it, and then I might catch on to it before she bring it to me.
That's bad.
And then she's like, oh, you knew? I kind of figured it out.
No, with him, he brings it to me, and he knows that I analyze everything. So I'm looking, like I said, the top, the bottom, and all the sides, and in the middle. So he brings me something, and sometimes he brings it to me, and he don't have all the answers yet because I'm coming with the questions. And then now I'm frustrated. So sometimes that turns a little bad, and I have to draw back because, like I said, I have to realize then my responsibility in the situation. So, yeah.
Well, thank you guys for a very interesting about communication on this episode number 2. And we'll see what we come up with episode number 3.
Yeah.